Hello everybody, my name is Dr. Jesse Anderson from the Wellness Way in Green Bay, and I'm here with today's quick tip. Today we're talking about depression. We need to really get through what's fact, what's fiction. There's a lot of misinformation about this very serious, very real topic. So when it comes to depression, let's first of all just start defining it. What is depression? Depression is a very serious issue when somebody becomes very regressed. They start having very negative thoughts. They don't want to go outside. They start pulling away from loved ones and from even society and the world that they live in. You'll notice changes in people. Sometimes though, you might not notice anything at all. It's all internal, and you really need to learn to identify when there's very minor changes going on in somebody and what's actually leading to the depression that they're going through. So when somebody is undergoing depression, what do we need to know? What is fact? What is fiction? First of all, the biggest thing to keep in mind, depression is not a disease, everybody. It is absolutely not a disease. It's a symptom. If somebody is undergoing depression, there is some underlying cause that is actually leading to it, and we need to identify what those factors are. It could be anything from severe as they had a family member or a loved one just pass. Someone can undergo depression when they go through a divorce. You can have an extremely stressful week and you can undergo depression from that. These are all symptoms of other things going on. Stress on the body can absolutely lead to depression. You can have some very real sickness going on inside your body, and that will lead to depression. You can have some major inflammatory disease going on in your body, and that will lead to depression. Not a disease in and of itself. It is entirely a symptom. What happens when you're sick? Let's say, for example, I get the flu. I get the flu. What am I going to want to do? Am I going to want to go outside and play? Am I going to want to be very social, host a party? No, not at all. I want to stay inside. I want to go to bed. I want to sleep. My body needs time to recover in order to repair itself. And this is no different. This is exactly what's going on in this regard. Your body needs time to repair, needs time to recover. If you're dealing with a major mental stressor, your body is going through some very real physical changes and it wants to recover. It needs to relax, it needs to rest, it needs to overcome that stress that it has just undergone. If you're sick, be it actually acutely ill, like the flu or some kind of illness in that regard, you need to repair, you need to recover. What if you're undergoing something else? What if you have cancer? What if you have a major infection in your gut? What if you have some kind of autoimmune disease? You'll probably undergo depression as well because your body wants to stay inside, rest, recover, and try to repair and rebuild itself. So it's going to start altering the way you think, the way you're processing information to literally prevent you from going outside. Your body knows you're sick or you're not sick. If you have the flu, your body doesn't want you to go outside and infect other people. It wants you to stay in. If you have depression, if you have something else going on, depression will start to make that happen as well, to make you not go outside, make you rest, recover, relax. And one very real, very common thing that will actually start to cause this depression is going to be starting right here in the belly, right here in the GI tract. There's a very real connection between your gut and your brain that you need to understand. Your brain is known as the master control center for your entire body, but let's look at this. There's one major nerve from your brain coming all the way down to your GI tract, your entire gut. It's controlled by one big old nerve. However, when the GI tract is talking to the brain, there's over 10,000 nerve endings going from the gut to the brain. Think about that for a minute. Over 10,000 nerve endings from the gut telling the brain what to do. Who's really in control? Who's telling who what to do in that scenario? The gut has way more control over the brain than any other part of the body. This is a very real thing you need to think about. So think about this like a computer. If your brain is the central processing unit, the big motherboard that's going to take care of all of the processes that your computer is going to do, what if you have no input going into that computer? You have nothing telling it what to do. Or you have someone only implanting bad commands in there and telling it to do only negative stuff. Lots of negative input, some kind of virus or something. Your computer isn't going to function correctly. It's not going to do all the processes that you want it to do correctly. So think of the gut as the keyboard. The keyboard is inputting all of the commands into the brain, telling that CPU what to do, telling it how to actually process and function and run those programs that you want to actually get out of it. Now, there are some different ways that the gut will communicate with the brain. One very major one is called serotonin. Now, most of you have probably heard of serotonin because that's the one they like to medicate. A lot of your medications, SSRIs, are referred to as a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. And that's what they will typically give you to actually combat your depression, to actually help boost your serotonin levels. However, there are so many studies now that have shown that serotonin is not a cause of depression. This actually goes back to when they first realized where Parkinson's disease came from, actually. So let's go way back now to the origin of Parkinson's disease and where these SSRI drugs even came from. Originally, they had a medication that would help with depression. They didn't know why it worked. It just did. However, there were so many terrible side effects that would actually come from it that they didn't want to give it out if they didn't have to. Well, then they realized, hey, we actually found that Parkinson's disease is caused by a deficiency in a brain chemical called dopamine. You don't have enough dopamine in your body. You're not getting enough signal to your brain. Now, hey, look, this is starting to cause a disease. All of a sudden, light bulbs went off. The entire scientific community, a light bulb went off in their head. Whoa, serotonin is a hormone that will tell your brain to be happy and give you like positive mood changes and things like that. What if a deficiency in serotonin also caused depression? Wow, that's fascinating. Now you'd think what they would do is then start researching that. That's not what happened. Instead, the drug companies already had the SSRIs made. They just had no use for them. The SSRIs were ready to go, and all of a sudden they're like, here's our chance, guys. We can make these SSRIs become mainstream. So what they did was they started researching SSRIs to prove that serotonin would be increased by taking this medication. Now, here's where the frantic leap in logic actually came from. At no point did they ever research to determine whether a deficiency in serotonin caused depression. That never happened. They made that leap in logic. They assumed it was going to happen. They were going to start doing the research, but then the drug companies came along and said, hey guys, this new drug we have, these SSRIs, they can actually increase serotonin levels. And they're like, fantastic. Start using them. And the SSRIs got approved, and here we go. Now we have these drugs being given out like candy to everyone who goes into a doctor saying, I'm depressed. Here's your SSRI. Here's your Prozac. Here's your Zoloft. Those are some brand names that are given out all the time. And guess what? Your standard antidepressants, they don't work. They do not actually cure depression. There's actually been a couple studies now that showed that an antidepressant had less results of curing depression than a placebo. Do you know what that means? Someone who did nothing, literally nothing, was more likely to no longer have depression than someone who took this drug. That's a problem. That's a very real problem. In fact, the placebo is usually a sugar pill. So give someone a little bit of sugar and suddenly they're a little happier. I mean, that just happens. That is a fact. Now, what's really interesting is when you're looking at antidepressants and their side effects, that's even more scary. That's even more nerve-wracking because look over here. I have a nice list of antidepressant side effects. Anxiety, violent thoughts, violent actions, suicidal thoughts, suicide. A side effect of an antidepressant is suicide. Isn't one of the main reasons you want to take an antidepressant is so you don't get to that point? In my opinion, that's one of the very main reasons. Criminal behavior. paranoia, psychosis. Now, one that was not listed, but I hear this on every drug commercial for an SSRI or antidepressant, new or worsening depression. Watch any drug commercial. When they list that list of side effects at the end and they kind of rattle through them real fast, new or worsening depression is a side effect of the antidepressant. How effective is this drug actually being in helping our depression? There is something very real going on inside your body, and you need to find the cause. You need to find out where this is all coming from. There is only one group of doctors that think this way, guys. There's only one group that will actually take the time to figure out what is going on inside your body and what is causing the symptom of depression, not the disease of depression. And that's the Wellness Way. Go to our website, twwclinics.com. We have over 50 clinics around the country now. Please find the closest Wellness Way to you. Find us on Facebook. We have the Wellness Way corporate page. We also have different Facebook pages for all of our individual clinics. You can find me on Facebook, Dr. Jesse Anderson, and we will get you the answers that you so rightfully need. Please, get help today. It is already too late. You cannot wait. I beg you. Thank you so much. Have a great day, everybody.